Yeah, so today, welcome by the way, Sailing, Learning by Doing, and we're changing rigging, standing rigging. Today I'm taking the diamonds off the mast. As you can see, this one's already a bit wobbly. I've put front on there. I am marking where the lock nut goes to, and I've undone the tension. So when the new ones come back on, I just tension it back up to there, lock it down, and I know that the tension is roughly or pretty much exactly what it was before. So tuning the rig should be easy. So yeah, I'm undoing the tension on all of these. I don't really need to put any supporting stays because we're not sailing anywhere, and the main, well, the forestay and the two side stays and the main sheet on the boom is still supporting the whole mast. Obviously, the mast itself without the diamonds will have a little bit less strength, but as I said, I'm not sailing anywhere, so it will be fine. I'll put them back on when they come back from the rigger and then do the side stays. But anyway, I need to get the tension a bit more off these ones, and then I've got to climb the mast and take them out of the spreaders, undo the spreaders, that sort of thing, and get them down. Yeah, so you'll know from the last video, we're here in Cronulla, close to a bit south of Sydney, and there's a young rigger here called Bryce. His company is called Infinity Rigging, and his father used to do this, and he's got quite a good reputation. I think he started with windsurfing or like light skiffs and things like that. He still races them here in the bay actually, and he came down the other day, as you could see, and he's quite happy that I do all the work, and he's just going to come down and pick these pieces up and swage them and provide all the the new bottles and everything, and then bring them back, and I'll replace everything, and then at the end he's going to come down and check my work and help the final tensioning and tuning of the rig. But yeah, that's it'll probably save around 50% of the cost for me doing it this way, and I get to know the boat, and I don't mind doing things like this anyway, so yeah, it's quite good. And a lot of riggers probably wouldn't be keen on that because they lose out on a bit of money, but the way I look at it, Bryce has then got time to go and do other people's jobs, so seems like he's quite busy. Anyway, let's go up the mast. Come on, come on. Oh yes. Woohoo! It came. Oh, that's a big relief. That's the one that's got Duralac on it though, so hopefully they all go like that. Try the next one. Yes, that one's come as well. Oh my god, that's so good.
So yeah, Vernon and I were a bit worried that it would be complicated to take off the cap of the spreaders, because the cap is in aluminium and the screws are in stainless steel. And as you probably know, like the two difference of metal, if they don't have something to protect, like the product's called Duralac, they can corrode it, and if that was the case, if they didn't use this product, it would be almost impossible to take off the screw, and that would be really a big work to take it off. But it seems that it was well made, so it's gonna be easier.
Okay, so I've got everything off now, all the diamonds. The mast is pretty naked now, and yeah, labelled and tied up, ready for Bryce to come and pick up on Monday morning. So yeah, pretty stoked. That came apart better than I ever could imagine. Like nothing went wrong. New rigging. So we got back the first part of the rigging that you can see. Now I'm just getting all my tools and everything ready, strapping in. I'm going to climb up the mast. There's a bit of a time pressure because, as you can see, if the camera turns around, the weather's pretty crappy. So I've got to try and get up there before it rains, and then get all this stuff dialed in. Alright, I'm ready to go, babe. Okay, up the mast now. And Maria's about to pull the first piece up. Let's go. Okay, first bit on. I'll put the camera away now for this next part because it's identical and I can do it better without a camera in my mouth. Okay. Okay, you can let me down further down to the spreaders now. Alright, so that's done up the top end of the mast. Should all be sweet now. It's the sunset now, it's beautiful light. Yep, we're going to go down and do the next little bit down here. Yep, let me down. We are getting there slowly. It's bloody cold though, I'm freezing up here. But getting there, getting there. Definitely easier to let the rigger come and do all this work, but yeah, we're saving a couple of $1,000 doing it myself, and that's important money. Okay. Okay. You can take that pin out if you want and put it on the, take the pin out, the split pin and the middle pin, and then you'll see where it goes. There'll be a, like on the front mast, see where that, there's one on the side like that too. The big pin from the front and the split pin on the back. Yeah. Okay, so I'm back down now. Everything's attached. Haven't fully tensioned it, but just a bit of tension to give the mast some support. One thing completely my mistake. Well, as it is when you're up the mast, you're trying to balance holding on and doing different things, and so these end caps, there's one on each end of the spreaders, and basically the rigging goes through. This is the spreader here, and it goes through, and then this locks it on the end of the spreader, and they're all slightly different, like each one. So I was up there trying to find out, there's 4 of them, I'm trying to get each one and put it on there. No, that's the wrong one. Oh no, turn it around. Oh, maybe that's it. And so I was sort of balancing them all and trying to fumble in my bag and find them. And I had my legs together up there, and I left one like that while I was doing the other one, and then I found it and put it on, and then forgot that I had left one between my legs. And then I started moving and did something else, and this one flew down. Luckily it didn't hit Marie, bounced off the trampoline, and obviously, just because, you know, Murphy, it didn't just bounce and then bounce back onto the boat, it bounced into the water and overboard, so lost that. Not the sort of thing you can find at Bunnings or your local bricolage. So yeah, I'm gonna trace this one, trace the holes, measure it all, and hopefully Bryce, the rigger, he might have some, he's got some spare bits. Otherwise I'll just have to get a piece of aluminium and make one basically. It wouldn't be terrible to make, but yeah, it would have been way easier just to screw the original on if I hadn't been such a... I think they would have heard me over at the airport swearing. I was definitely howling at the top of my voice up there, berating myself for having the brains of a bloody seagull or a jet skier. But anyway, we're nearly done. I'm going to do the split pins here. These riggings, I'll put a little bit more tension on these, but I'll just do up the split pins first. bit more tension on these ones, a bit more tension on this. And as I'm tensioning these ones up, it's going to make sure obviously the mast is straight and it's not pulling on an angle. I'm not doing full tension up yet, just a bit of tension on all of them so we can motor around. We might go and go somewhere for the weekend just to get away from this anchorage. But yeah, nearly there. Alright, we've got one last one to go on today. This is the, I don't know what you call it, goes on the front beam across here and gives strength to the front of the boat. It's nothing to do with the mast or sails, obviously. Okay, well that's the first lot of rigging done. I've got tension on everything, not final tension, but just tension enough to give everything support. And it's a long weekend this weekend, Anzac weekend, so we're going to go away somewhere. This is enough to keep the boat going. I won't sail with it like it is, but it'll be enough to motor, and if we hit some waves it doesn't matter. Because we're unsupported, the mast was really wobbly without the diamonds on, and I didn't want to go through waves and have the mast possibly flex around. So the front beam's strong now, the mast is supported, feeling good, and then next week we'll get the other shrouds off and this was the biggest step. This was the most wires and the most work, and for the rest of it it's pretty easy. Okay, so the next stage of the standing rigging is these side shrouds. They go all the way up. On a catamaran they are taking, well, that and the forestay are taking all the load. There's only three, a triangle. You know, on monohulls you have inners and lowers and double backstays and all that. Cats don't have backstays. The width of the cat allows the shrouds to be quite swept back, and then counteracting those two swept back shrouds you have the forestay. So you've got a real good, well, I guess it's not a triangle, like a pyramid sort of shape, you know, so you get the strength through that. And then obviously, you know, when you've got your main up, you've got your main sheet pulling the mast back as well. So I need to take off one of these side shrouds, take that into the rigger, and then he'll make me two, and then I'll replace them. But before I can climb the mast and obviously release that, I've got to support the mast, and so I'm using two of my new Spectra halyards. So I dropped the jib, as I will have to take the sail off anyway. To drop that forestay, I've got to, that's inside the furler, so I've got to drop that anyway, so I need to take off the jib. And I've used that halyard and the halyard from the Screecher. The jib halyard I've already attached here. There's a good pad eye down there, and I've got that under tension. I've tensioned it here with the winch, and then next I'm putting the Screecher halyard on here. Okay, so that's got a lot of tension on it, that's got a lot of tension, and now I've got these two ropes here, you can see, going up, and I will bring the boom across to this side on the Traveller, and so that way I've got sort of 3 points pulling the mast this way when I release that main shroud. So it should be plenty of strength, and yeah, it's not a wavy. We obviously can't go sailing, but until that's done, put those two back on. I'll climb the mast, release that shroud, and yeah, get it into the rigger. Okay, I'm going to go up the mast and release the shroud now. The system we have for doing this, you'll see a lot of people just getting winched up. Someone will be on the bottom just grinding it up. We don't do it that way. It takes too long and it's too hard work for Marie. So basically I just climb, you know, just like shimmying up a tree when you're a kid, and Marie sort of tails me. So I've got the halyard on, and she just pulls it as fast as, whenever I move, she pulls it. So there's never slack in the line. So I can sort of rest and sit down and then nearly sort of bounce up and get half a meter from the, you know, sitting position. So it's not very hard to climb, and it's like 2 minutes and I'm at the top of the mast. It's pretty easy. And then Marie just lets me down, like you know, belays me basically. So it's quite easy way. I'll put the GoPro in my mouth and try and film it a little bit so you can see. Okay, let's go. Okay, you can lock me off. Alright, so that was pretty quick. She just locks me off now, so I'm sitting here. I'm going to undo this shackle. This is one we just loosed at the bottom, and I'll tie that onto a spare halyard, drop that down, and then take that into the maker. So these are the two halyards that are holding the mast up now. This one and this one down here. All right, get that rope up here. Keep going. Go. I don't really like these shackles having these bolts on here, but they're sort of rounded end bolts, obviously, so they don't catch sails and that. But I'd rather have a normal pin with a hole that I can mouse some safety wire into. But this is very tight, so I've obviously put a lot of Loctite in there. Okay, ready? Okay, go on. Alright, that's that down, no problem. These ones, yeah, they'll both be changed out. I'll change the shackles as well as the wires. And this, basically, this is the chain plate. This still looks fine. So yeah, we'll go back down to the ground now and take this into the rigger. Alright, whenever you're ready, you can let me down. Okay, back on deck. Okay, we got our side shrouds, the big ones from the sides. Just got them freshly delivered. We're going to go and put one up now. Okay, top's all done. I'm going to hook the bottom on here. Got Got a bunch of washers here, as you can see, to pack it out, because this shack, I don't know what you call this, but it's much thicker than the chain plate. So just to pack it out so it doesn't flop around. Okay. So again, I want to have this split pin on the back so it can't get caught by any sails or anything like that. It's just safe down in here. Oh, we've got to tension it up a bit now. Take that rope off afterwards. Okay, tensioning these up now. You're going to make sure that you hold on to the actual shroud with a crescent or something, because if you just turn this, you're actually putting twists in the look, if I would just turn this, you're going out of sync as well with both the top and the bottom, because this is turning. You don't want that to happen. You'll put twists in it. So you've got to keep that there, and then just tension this one. Oh, which way is it? That way. Now I'm not doing these to final tension or anything, I'm just supporting the mast basically. You can see how floppy these have got. These were my supporting halyards. Now that's got enough tension on it to support the mast, and then when I put the other side on, we'll tension them both up to full tension so that the mast is straight and everything. So the final part of the rigging is the forestay. I left that till last just because it's the most complicated. The forestay goes inside the furler. So you've got to walk the whole thing back. It takes 2 or 3 people. I've got to tie it on at the top, and then you've got to let the halyard down slowly while somebody's walking backwards with the furler head at the bottom, and lay it all out, and then you've got to take the whole furler apart, take all the foils off, and then take the old forestay out, cut a new one to length. It's got to be perfect basically. Feed it back through the foils, do all the foils back up, swage the ends of the new one, and then put the furler on again, and then basically reverse. I've got to go back up the mast. Marie's pulling the halyard tied onto it and pulling the whole thing up, and then one of the guys from Infinity is walking the furler in again, and then just attaching it all again. So it all worked out pretty good, and Bryce had obviously has a portable swaging machine, so amazing. Alright, so I'm up the mast again, getting really towards the end of this rigging job. I'm doing the last little bits and pieces, and it's the last of the light. Look over there. Beautiful sunset here, Gunamata Bay. And trying to get this done. There's going to be a big blow the next few days, and we won't be climbing mast, that's for sure. So what I've got left to do is this. These end caps, I just put them on to line everything up, but I need to take them off now and put Tef gel, because here you can see stainless steel screws, aluminium. It's not good together, so you're going to put Tef gel to basically isolate those two materials. So I'm going to do that on all of the end plates. That's 4 of them. Bonjour, good morning. Pretty early, not even 7 o'clock yet, but I'm just about to finish off this rig because we're going sailing today. First time in a month we're going to pull the sails up, but I need to tension down these 2 last shrouds. I've been holding off, just doing other jobs basically. So I'm going to tension these down now, lock them off. Well, tension them down, make sure they're both the same side, measure them, and then lock them off. And then go for a sail, and probably tension them again later this afternoon, but I'll quickly do that now. Right, sweet. We're locked and loaded. I'm about to throw off the lines here and yeah, get out there and have a test. That's pretty much it for the rigging job, to be honest. I'll get back to you before the end of this video and tell you the costs and how much I saved doing it myself and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get the boat ready now. Alright, we've got the sails up now. We're out in the ocean. There's a bit of a swell on the beam, but it's all good. We've got 8 knots of breeze on the beam pretty much. And we're doing 6.5 knots. I've got full sails up. I'm going to go up to the mast now and just have a look at the rig, walk around the rigging, make sure everything's tight and in the right places. We'll go and check it out. Alright, there's obviously the windward shroud. It's quite tight, it's good. I can see the leeward one is flapping a bit, which is good. It's supposed to be a bit loose. Go to the mast and check it out. Now these diamonds, they're supposed to be real tight because the diamonds actually are they're just sort of here to support the mast itself and put the pre-bend in it. So the 2 back diamonds, because they're swept spreaders, are actually bending the mast to fit the sail shape. And the front one here is just counteracting that. So basically I tightened these back ones up until I had the pre-bend I want and then locked this one off, and that stops the bend any further and stops it going inverted. So they all look good. Now if I look up the mast, it should be straight vertically and also not pulling either side, but obviously the vertical and then the pre-bend is right, and it's dead as straight as an arrow up the mast with load on it. So that's really what I want to see. Go up to the forestone, have a quick look. You'll probably notice I've actually got the mast rotated at the moment. We're on a beam reach, so the mast isn't straight. It isn't facing me, but that's good. Forestay it's loaded. I haven't got a big bow in the foil, so that's really good. Everything looks sweet. Stoked. As you can see, the shroud on the leeward side here it's got some flop in it, but that's good. It could actually nearly have a little bit more, but if there was 20 knots of wind, there would be more, so I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, so wrapping up this video now, I'll just give you a quick rundown of what it all cost. The final cost for the rigging, or what I paid Bryce at Infinity, was 6,800 Australian dollars. So that's about 4,500 American, something like that. And he said I saved about 3,000 Australian dollars by doing the work myself. You know, it would have been 10,000 basically if I hadn't done the work myself, which is cool. It's a good amount to save. The final price, I was a bit unhappy with. I just thought it would be less than that, to be honest. Just based on when I did Schiehallion on my previous boat 5 years ago, they did all the work, measured it, de-rigged it, re-rigged it, tuned it, and it was with diform, which is a higher quality, better rigging, and that came in at 5,800, so 1,000 less, and they did all the work themselves, and it was better rigging, and it was roughly the same amount of wire because Schiehallion had a bit bigger mast and it had, it's just a different boat, but about the same amount of wire and exactly the same toggles and all that was hammer, all the same stuff. So I was a bit like, I said to Bryce, well, why is this? Why is it more expensive and I've done the work and it's a less good quality rigging? I mean, not really, it's still stainless steel, but diform is a better form of rigging. So yeah, he wrote back and he was, open with all that and said the prices have just gone up since COVID, 25% on everything that he orders. Obviously he's put his prices up 25%. Everyone's just following the leader of putting their prices up. And that's just the way it is. It's just more expensive now. So I still saved money, but the job did cost more than I was hoping or more than I was expecting. But yeah, it is what it is. I've got a good strong boat now for the next 10-15 years and can go into some big miles in the next 4 months. We're going to do 4,000 miles. We're going to be sailing a lot and won't have to worry about the rigging. So yeah, all good, I guess. A bit disappointed, but anyway, all good. Got to say thanks, patrons. You guys are awesome. A few new ones on board this last couple of weeks. Really, really cool. Obviously, a lot of people are pretty stoked with our news last week about the new crew member coming on board. this particular crew member won't be any bloody help for probably about 5 years, but still, he'll keep us happy and occupied.
Entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment value will be high, hopefully for you guys as well. And yeah, thanks patrons, you guys are so good. It's really, really nice to know that it's our work making these videos is valuable to you guys. And yeah, if you would like to become a patron, if you would, you see what we're doing, head over to our page. There's a link below in the description. We would love to have you. We've got a Signal group chat where we talk about all this stuff as I'm doing it, not later in the videos. That sort of thing is all available to patrons. So join us next week. There's probably going to be another video about fixing the boat, like making a new salon, although it might not be. So maybe we have to tune in to figure that one out. But anyway, if it is, that'll be the last of the boat work, and from then on, basically just going to be sailing flat out for 4 months. So yeah, look forward to that. See you next week. Bye bye.